So when I went to school, you learn a lot about, white histories, the American history, world history, and mythology, Greek mythology. So you had these mythical guys. That's why I say you're not like an atheist, but but you're not religious, so to speak. In the days. So you hear about the Hercules, the Jason, the Argonauts. You hear, different guys like Apollo and Zeus, the pantheons of that. You hear about the Vikings and stuff. So and then the days of the week. So it was nothing really black you were taught about other than slavery, and then when they talk about the Civil War, they never talk about the moral issues much when I was coming up about slavery being not right and wrong. Just, the North figure was wrong, the South figures are right, but they never really get into the details about, why would slavery be a major, issue in the first place, or why this particular people, as opposed to any other people, being looked upon as slaves, and pretty much, with the indoctrination, not knowing it, being naive as a youth, you kind of wonder, how did people, the white folks, dominate them that deep?
Right.
Being in the city in New York, when people was talking about segregation in the South and stuff like that, and my mother experienced it, my grandmother experienced it, that's why she came up, first and she said she would never go back. I can identify with that because I'm raised up in New York City, and we don't see it apparently, the racism and stuff that the people experience in the South.
Right.
So my thing was, why they get forcing themselves to go here and do this and that and the other? All they gotta do is just study, get education, get a job, and then move on like that. So being naive as a youth and not aware of all the particulars at the time, and the parents didn't talk much about that. If anything, and was really ironic, which most people didn't experience, is that people in my age bracket, a little older, that lived in the city like New York City, we didn't have black teachers.
Oh, wow.
It was rare that you found a black teacher. I didn't have a black teacher till I got to junior high school.
So all your teachers were white.
That's right. So you never really, and there was one black teacher in the whole school. The whole school was one black teacher, and he didn't seem too smart. Nobody really wanted to emulate him.
Wow.
Because he didn't seem like he had no real, authority. And matter of fact, when he used to call himself beating up the teachers one time, he was the one that got beat up. It was made the papers.
Wow.
When you seen a black teacher in school, you say, "Oh wow, there's a black teacher here," and you really didn't realize.
It wasn't like a sense of pride.
Well, you say, well, did they let him get by, or did he really?
Your question is education.
I mean, and they say, well, either they got to be really good,
right?
But if they really that good, how come they not the head guy in this and the head guy in that? Because we will find them not as a homeroom teacher, most of them. We find them teaching a class, because that's the first time in junior high school that we would go from class to class. Right. So before in public school, we did all day long. So and when you're going from class to class, I couldn't think of none at the time that had a homeroom class. You might find one that was an artist that teach art,
right,
math,
right,
or English,
right.
That's pretty much it,
right.
But other than that, in the whole school, black. When I went to junior high school, 258 right there on Macon, I believe was only 4 black teachers in the whole school.
Wow.
And that's at 258. And it was 2 females and 2 males.
Okay.
And two of them was math teachers, and 1 male and the female was a math teacher. The female was a English teacher, and another male was an art teacher.
So now when you look back at it, you probably say, these people were. Now when you look back at them in retrospect, you have a different.
Yeah, they had to really go through some things to get where they're going, but also as an older guy looking back,
right?
You say, well, they put them in the black area where most of the teachers I was teaching come from Long Island and different places like that, out the area, and taught in the black area. And the black teachers, I don't think I could conceive of any of at the time. There probably was some that would teach in a white area.
Right. Okay, so now you moved to Brooklyn. You were in Harlem. I know we spoke briefly. You went to junior high school in Brooklyn. You moved to Brooklyn. Where did you move to? Bed-Stuy?
Yeah, it's Bed-Stuy, but in fact, one of the houses is still there, and two of the houses is still there next to the third one was torn down, and that's the house I actually lived in. Most of the people that we hung out with lived in that building, which was I still remember the number just as clear as yesterday. It was 1373 Atlantic Avenue.
1373 Atlantic Avenue.
Yeah. So
you live right on Atlantic Avenue.
Yeah, yes. And it was an apartment building. A lot of kids in that building.
Right.
Only a couple in the next building, but a lot of kids in that building.
And you guys grew up together.
Yeah, and it was a steel test area where the projects is now.
Okay.
The filling station always been a filling station there, but it was smaller. It was a mobile station at the time.
Right.
And most of us all went to that same school at the corner of New York Avenue.
Right.
And Atlantic. So most of us went to the same school at the corner.
Okay. So then, at this point, you're in Bed-Stuy, you're going to school, now you're in junior high school. At what point did you begin to pursue this way of life, or did you come across it by coincidence? Did someone introduce you to this way of life that you've been living ever since you were a youth?
Actually, religion was like the bottom thing on my list.
Right.
Coming up pretty much because I didn't see religion doing anything really.
Right.
And I grew up with watching pictures like John Wayne and these soldier stories, World War I, World War II, and stuff like that, and then westerns.
Right.
So it was like the rough and tough that you're looking for, And so religion, I always had the stereotype that you got to be easy going, soft, and you're looking at old gangster movies and stuff. So it didn't seem like it would be a gravitational pull for people who didn't have much, to go into religion. But I encountered by seeing people next door. I didn't know that they was Israelites. But everybody try to make a hustle, so when you go, say, well, you want me to go to the store for a year, something like that. There, so people trust you. You go to the store, they give you, 15 cents, a quarter. A quarter was like big money back there,
right?
So you try to get as many people you can, to see if they want you to go to the store,
right?
And go pick the paper for them, or do something, help them with their shopping, right? And but that was our hustle back then.
Yeah.
All those things we were trying to steal off the trucks of the past neighborhood. You know what I mean? But it was people there, and I never knew. It was strange. It's strange how the world be big, but then you find out that people related to each other. That they was what we call now Christian Hebrews, and which was a lot of people were back then.
Messianic.
Yeah, and so they, mind you, I know Benny Dot history is, in the 50s, and so it's Benny Zakim history. But these people I know, was actually, Hebrew Israelites, but it was like Christian Hebrew Israelites. So they believe in the New Testament and everything like that. Right. They wore the long skirts and dresses and stuff like that. But and the son, I know the son, but we were on good terms. He was a lot older than I was, a lot more older than I was, and He's a rough guy, mean guy. So you try to stay distance, keep your distance from him. But the older brother was, cool, but they wasn't too religious. They might go with their moms and then their aunt, to the place. So since I used to be like, go to the store for them, everything like that, so they talk to me about religious stuff. I wasn't really
interested.
I'm trying to make this. I'm trying to hustle the customer. So I'm listening and everything like that. I don't know if they're telling me right or wrong. 'Cause I never read the Bible.
And who was this family?
I forgot their name, but I know the brother. This last name Quicker. He's in the martial arts, and our circles met again. And actually, which is ironic, is that the young brother, Mikhail Cooper, they're related.
Oh, okay.
And he's younger than me, so he's one of the guys. Even though I was exposed to that and listened to it, and I was going around the camp at a young age. But I wouldn't be parcel till I find out what's going on. And he the only one I know that was going in and out. But he could never hang out. He was real young, so he couldn't even hang out. So
who is that? Mikhail
Cooper. Yeah, okay. Cooper. Yeah.
So he's the one that basically introduced you to
what they're about. And it almost a turnoff. It almost was a serious turnoff.
Why is that?
Because not only younger, he couldn't hang out, and I'm hanging out with none but gangbangers at the time. And I'm very, like I had a reputation for having, high scores in school and all that kind of stuff. So, and he's younger than me, but just that I don't know these guys like that. I sit out there, listen to them. I know we'd see a couple people, and I go regular. When they was out on the corners, but I would never go inside, stuff like that.
They were out on the corners. Where you talking? This is now we talking.
Ben Zakim.
Right.
The
NASIK Yaakov.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And I know about the people that was telling me about the Sabbath and stuff like that, but I couldn't see they didn't seem like these guys seem militant and they didn't seem militant.
So Mikhail Cooper, he came from the family who were.
He's related. He's related to him, but
he wasn't going.
No. He was going. Far as I know, it stops right there because they live down the block.
Right.
They live exactly down the block.
Right.
From it. So and they was real young, so they couldn't go too many places anyway. And so when I wound up going, so I don't really know how they got hooked up with it. And it was a young girl I was talking to. Whose mother was a real straight up Christian, 7 days a week, church, stuff like that. Her uncle was a prince in the place. And I said, that's your uncle.
Ben Zakim?
Oh yeah. So matter of fact, his father, and it's kind of affluent for them days because his father ran a funeral parlor.
Okay.
So I said, well, let me just find out what's going on. So I asked Mikhail. And I said, well, how you say, my nickname in the streets was Little Rock. So I said, how you say Little Rock in African talk? Because now everybody's talking about this black thing and stuff like that. And then, you had the Bible centers, you had the Muslims, right. And then you had the black movements coming up, and black awareness. So people ask more about, so I said, well, how you say Little Rock in African talk? I know what language, whether they say Swahili or whatever the case, I just figure, anywhere in Africa is good, I guess. Because like I said, blackness wasn't on the top of the agenda.
Right.
It was about the white world.
Right.
And so, and he said, we Hebrews. I said, Hebrews. So now, that's a new term for me. Because Hebrews, I'm saying Hebrews. I said I heard something about them, but I don't know anything about no Hebrews.
Right.
And the other people at the time, they call themselves, Hebrews too. But I think when they say Hebrews back there, at the time, that didn't ring no bell for me.
Right.
Because I never read the Bible. So, I just know they're supposed to be some religious folks. I said, well, maybe it's just this new religion.
Right.
So, and when he showed me a book, he didn't know how to say it either. At the time, but he was, studying, picking up in Hebrew, and he showed me his book. I never forget. 'Cause I learned the name of the book later on after I come in and knowledge myself.
What's the name of the book?
Hamid Lamed.
Hamid Lamed. What does that mean?
Well, it's basically it's supposed to be the study book.
The study book. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then he brings you.
The book for study.
Right. So he brings you.
And so he opened up the book.
Right.
And when he showed me the book and showed me about, they read, we read Hebrew, and he showed me what Hebrew is and what it looked like. And I see a little white boy, a little beanie on there looking Jewish. I said,
this ain't African.
I said, y'all Jews. So he said, no. I said, I don't know. So now,
it's critical.
No. So now I'm not that interested too much. So so now I'm trying to get some kind of awareness and education with the black things that's going on, and a lot of Muslims are pretty strong. The Nation of Islam is pretty strong still. Bible centers, and then he talking about these black awareness stuff, and they start talk more about blackness a little bit more. Right. But so. I said, wow, these guys are Jews. They look so much different. I said, I don't want to be a Jew. I don't want to be one of them. That's the last thing I want to be. Right. So I asked another brother who later on, found out to be Cheaper. Okay. And asked him, same question. How you say, Little Rock in Hebrew, African talk. So he said, I don't, none of the African talk, but Hebrew, Then he said, ZurishaddaI, But the Hebrew, they were studying Hebrew now, so it's not accurately correct. But the way he said it, because Little Rock would be ZurishaddaI.
ZurishaddaI.
Yeah, that's Little Rock. ZurishaddaI.
Right. Yeah, because Zuri will be my little.
My rock is
my rock is little. Yeah,
my rock is little.
My rock is little. Right. So, okay. So now, what was your first experience like when you came? You say you were listening to the guys on the corner. Yeah. NASIK or whatever. What was the point that made you say, "All right, this is what I want to do"? Like, what was that last straw that made you say, "This is where I want to be. This is where I want to put my stake on the ground"? This is what I mean, because this is a really young age. Like, about what age are you talking about?
Well, I'm 13, but I always put age up because I'm hanging out with guys older.
13, okay. So realistically, you were 13, but in the streets, everybody thought you was
14,
about 15.
No, I couldn't get 15 because I had nothing.
You had nothing.
And my friends started getting the peace funds.
Okay.
So I figured I'd get through that. And even in the camp, I told brothers I was there. I told the people that I was 14 in the camp, but because I didn't want the girl to think I'm real young. Right. And I'm hanging with a lot of guys that's older and drinking. I ain't doing none of that. Right. So what happened was that after the same guy Cheaper Rock showed me that, and then showed me about started telling me about Esau and Jacob, and which is strange because the sidra just passed up, in that particular sidra. Right. And so that's the sidra. That's the book he showed me. And it says in the Bible that the first white man, red and hairy all over, and that's where the first white man come from. Right. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I'm into more or less like not knowing Darwin, but caveman and this and that and the other, and I know the white man running everything. So I think, hey, this is world. Right. I didn't think about blacks being, super over the white man, pretty much, coming up as a real youth before the black movement started, pop up somewhat. Right. And I didn't look at myself inferior, but I said we ain't got nothing going on. So I see what we have and what they have. So when he showed me that in the scripture, so I read it, and it said the first came out red, hairy, all over like a hairy garment, and the one black. So he said this one is white guy, and this one is a black man. Right. So I never read the book before. So I go home. We had one little thin Bible in the house, and then my mother's house, and I'm staying with my grandmother meanwhile. I was down at my mother's house because she lived in the neighborhood a couple blocks from there, a few blocks from the camp. And I looked and I see they moved her hair out and moved her bill out the way. And I'm looking for that chapter. And so she said, "You reading the Bible?" I said, "I just want to see if this is in every Bible," because the brother just showed me something. There was a regular King James Version Bible. And I said, "I want to see it." Once I seen it in the exact same spot, the same verse, never read the Bible before, and said, "Okay, he was right. It's in every Bible." Because nobody in the house be reading this Bible. We just got it in there like a talisman. So,
like a good luck charm.
Yeah, it's basically that's what it was. Because nobody went to church.
Right.
Nobody went to church.
Right.
And so, I go back and so they say, "Well, you're reading the Bible," and I'm saying, "Well, my name now is so and so and so and so." Yes. So that created a big problem too. Man, I wouldn't even ask. I was giving my mother a little hell, but they seen I was consistent. Right. And so I went there. So I got my cousin to come, and I got a couple other friends to come, later on. But I came up. Me and my cousin came the first time, my first Shabbat. Right. And the first Shabbat in Ben King, they said come in at 10 o'clock.
At this time, where was at this time where was Ben King at, and what year is this?
Okay, well, the first Shabbat had to be around. Maybe about 65.
65, right.
Maybe about 65. I graduated in 1970. I'm 18 then.
Right.
So 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So 65, and where was Ben King at this time?
235 Tompkins Avenue between Kosciuszko and Lafayette.
Best style.
Yeah. Right. You cat a corner from Tompkins Park.
Okay.
That's why they was able to go out there and go back over there to the spot.
Right.
And at that time they had a restaurant, and they hang out there. The brothers hang out there, and then they had their service in the same building.
Okay.
Right. So what happened was when I was told to come there, because Barack told me to come there, for the service to start there. So I come there, me and my cousin, who lived directly on the corner of Tompkins, across the street from Tompkins Park, same house still there. And we goes there that morning, and there's just two sisters there. This brother and elder brother named Eli. I found out later on. So I see him with the beard on, the culture. I said, "Well, he must be a heavyweight man. He's tall. He got all this stuff on, and he got the book out, so." I'm coming in, so I never forget my first lesson. That's why I'm always a stickler about your first impression is your most dominant impression for anybody. Because when I first came in, and he opened up the book, and he was teaching Genesis, and he was teaching about Adam and Eve. So I'm sitting there, I don't know nothing about the Bible. All I know is now that's what they're going to be reading out of. And my cousin, I don't know what he knows, but I know I'm smarter than him. and he look older. He's only a month older than me, but he look a lot older because he's bigger, big, little big.
Right.
But I know I'm smarter than him already. So
right.
I ain't worried about him being smarter than me.
Got him beat.
Yeah. So when the two females there, they was a little older than I was, and I had this stickler about I ain't gonna let no woman be smarter than me.
Right.
I had that stereotype that no woman could ever be smarter than me in the same class. Nowhere. Right. I grew out of that, but I'm saying back then that's the kind of mentality I had.
Right.
And he reading the Genesis and talking about Adam, so he asked a question. And I never forget the first question. And he said, "How old was Adam when God made him?" So everybody's sitting around. And I said, "He was 21. Like that. But I figured I'm always right in the class.
I'll be right in this one too.
So I said, I didn't see it nowhere. I never, but I said, he's 21. So he said, "Well, what make you think he was 21?
Does NASIK Barak?
No, Eli. He was teaching that class before the actual service started. And he said, "What make you think he was 21? I said, "Cause it said God made man. You ain't a man till you're 21. So I figured that answer is solid, open, shut case.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you had a man till 21.
Right.
And at one time, the boat age was 21 too.
Right.
So I figured, hey, I mean, I can't be wrong. so he gave me a wrong answer, you know, which I know as a teacher, and later on, he said it was 2. And I always share that same story. So now I feel embarrassed that not only I'm wrong, I'm 19 numbers off. You know?
That's a big margin.
Yeah. And I'd never be wrong like that in school.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I said, wow, I'm 19 numbers off the mark. I'm saying to myself. So that automatically left a stigma on me, never to be too wrong in the book.
Right.
You know, and it was like, you know, so I always try to focus to be very, very meticulous and study just from, I guess, having an inferiority complex that I'm wrong.
Right.
I don't never be wrong. I'm the smartest guy in the class all the time. So I you know, I said, well, they ain't gonna catch me too much like that. You know what I mean? You know, and I always would come in there, sit through them teachings, and my cousin dropped off on the way, but he had. I never forget. I'd be forced to go to classes, and he could hang out. You know, and Prince Yaakov.
You was forced by Prince Yaakov?
Yeah, to go to class, and he'd hang out or work behind the counter for we had like a restaurant like thing. He could work behind there, and I can't work behind there. I mean, I'm coming to all the things regular on time, and he lived right down the block, and he won't come, and I'm living all the way across town, and I come there. And I sit there, do all this stuff, and then he gets the job because he drink, you know, do it. I said, man, all the other guys, my friends, that was gangbangers, they could hang out and dance and party. I get called out in the middle of the party to go to the class. So,
well, do you think that maybe NASIK Yaakov saw something in you?
Well,
later, as you got older, you said you didn't drink, you didn't smoke.
No,
you didn't do any of those things.
He didn't know whether, you know, I mean, at that time. So at that time, I was kind of like, man, I'm saying, well, I'm starting to, you know, learn stuff the way the brothers talk. I understand the reason and the logic that they're giving.
Right.
And understand situations. And so I became,
right.
You know, and I'm always checking with people that's religious because a lot of people going to church back in them days.
Right.
And I never read the scriptures before.
Right.
So now it's a whole new frontier I'm studying.
Right.
And I remember in certain verses and passages and stuff like that. And they didn't know that. And they didn't know it was in the Bible and all this. And then they didn't know Israelites was in there. And at the time, most people didn't call themselves Israelites. They called themselves Hebrews. And Ben Ezekiel was one of the first to actually use the term sons of ancient Israelites.
Right.
You know, so going through that at the time, you know, I just figured, you know, I mean, I didn't see, you know, all I thought was more of a harassment. You
right.
sent them, you picking me out, you know what I mean, to go here and go here, but you don't say that to the next guy.
Right.
But things were real strict back then. So I didn't, you know, you won't give no rebuttal. You just do what you're told.
I think it was just my opinion. I think he saw something in you, and in seeing something in you, I think he knew there was something probably special about you. So maybe he knew those other guys were like a little. He didn't probably underestimate you as what you were, but he just figured this guy has to be in the study, and I think it paid off.
Well, it definitely paid off. I must admit it paid off. But as a youth, I didn't definitely like it.
You didn't like it.
I really didn't like that because I used to be embarrassing. You know what I mean? You know, and the embarrassment that I took coming up. I said, man, guys in the street don't embarrass me like this. And I'm supposed to be getting into this group, and they say they're not religious in their nation, and you know they treat me worse. You know, I mean, I'm trying to be like them,
right?
You know, so,
right.
So you know, I mean, but so I go to the class. It was matter of fact, it was a girl in the class ahead of me in Olive Bay, and I never forget my first Olive Bay class. It was Chipa Rock Isha. His wife was teaching, and so I didn't know the Olive Bay. My cousin in the class, I'm in the class. So she going through the Olive Bay, and there's a couple older people in there in the class, but I know there's young girls in the class ahead of me, and I said, wow. And her name was Sarah. I'll never forget her name, Sarah. And I said, how in the world she learned this stuff that quick? I'm looking at this writing, this stuff look all strange, and they telling me how to pronounce this and that and the other. So after that, I'm looking at it, and going to the alphabet over and over again in that class, and I said, I'm gonna learn this. So the next class, the next day, I got that one day. I say, I'm going over and over and over again, over and over and over again, till I knew that. And then they didn't. The way they taught how to read, they used the d.c.b, which means first knowledge.
Right.
And so you get the the letter, then you get the sound.
Right.
But they never gave you the name of the vowels. So and then being everybody's pretty much learning that language itself. They was teaching the best they can at the time, which it was good for the time, pretty much.
Right.
But actually, when I went to college later on and started studying the language, I found a lot of myths, right. Misconceptions, and I try to when I try to share and teach that, then you get the ridicules and this and that and the other.
Right.
But it was a lot more accurate because it's a different level that they was teaching from a college level than you would be from, say, somebody that's trying to pick it up from a book on their own.
Right. Right.
So going through I learned that right away from our class. Then you go to cheaper rock class, but he really didn't teach Hebrew in his class. All he did was teach scriptures in his class.
Okay.
So that's the class that you actually learn about the book a little bit more.
Right.
So her class the Hebrew, and she figured the alphabet here and there and lay a few words because she waiting to pick up the language from him. The next class was that. Those are the only two classes. Now, anything else, you're around the brother. If you come too early, you're sitting in there listening to the brother teach. And the brothers come up every Shabbat with a firing line of teachers. And you're sitting there from 10-something to they break. Tight. And then the next speaker come up talking, and you can't nod. You can be tired all you want. I didn't have no Israelites to hang out with because, like I said, Mikael and them, they weren't coming there that early. They come in kind of late, and they couldn't hang out. So he was advanced, far advanced than I was in the language. So I try to get words from him every now and then because he's obviously more advanced than I was in the language. And for the class stuff, I'm there. So it's not and I could read and stuff on my own. So I didn't really need no real help in that area.